Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for this game 4 of the best 5 between inFiTargA and yChSPR, better known as StarTale King Kong. Zerg vs Zerg on Abyssal Caverns. inFiTargA is down 1-2 in this best of 5. So if we do see him spawning as the pink Zerg in the left hand, in the top left of Abyssal Caverns against yChSPR, better known as StarTale King Kong in the bottom right of Abyssal Caverns, we did see King Kong taking an extremely fast, extremely fast 2-0 lead against inFiTargA in this best of 5. But we did see in the previous game inFiTargA on Tal'Darim Alta managing to take a win off our Korean Zerg. StarTale King Kong. This is again the match that Targa wants to play. He needs to win this game or else he is out of the tournament. There must be so much pressure on him, but both players scouting cross positions with these overlords and seeing that there's nothing going on right here. As the game picks up, I would like to plug our sponsor once more, Cyberthor. Go check them out at www.cyberthor.com.au. They are sponsoring this event and giving out $150 vouchers to anyone who wins any sort of money from us. Please go check them out. They do build really good computers. I have seen them. They are very sexy. Do see extractors going down for both players at about the same time. Spawning pool going down for King Kong, a smidgen ahead of inFiTargA. Now both these players are Grandmaster level players. King Kong is from the team StarTale, which is a pro gaming house in Korea. In the income station, we do see 13 harvesters apiece. It'll be extremely interesting to see how this game pans out. Zerg vs Zerg, as I've said previously, is considered a bit of a coin flip matchup. There's a lot of build order deaths. If you build one extra drone, you could die. If you don't build one extra drone, you could die. So we will see how this does play out. Excuse me. Now, there's not much going on here, so I will introduce this game a bit. For those of you who haven't played StarCraft before, these races are Zerg. They can only build, but no, hang on, excuse me. 4 Zerglings on the way for both players straight away. Metabolic boost Zergling speed on the way straight away for both players. An extra set of Zergling coming down for inFiTargA. This could turn the tide of any battle. 4 Zerglings popping out now for King Kong. What's interesting to note, though, is that both players are now saving up money for their expansions. They're going to take them again at roughly the same amount of time. These Zerglings scouting out both positions for inFiTargA to see where inFiTargA is. We do see King Kong droning slightly more than his opponent, and this could be decisive if the game goes on long enough. But as it is right now, inFiTargA has got a period of time where he does have the Zergling advantage. We do see Baneling Nests going down now around the same time for both players. This again could be absolutely huge. Overlord popping out, seeing what he can see for both players. We do see an extra 6 Zerglings on the way for our yellow Zerg player. Both builds going extremely clear, and this Spine Crawler going down. Spine Crawler, which proved almost decisive in the previous game. Excuse me, by its placement, which prevented inFiTargA from going for a quick, clean win. We do see now a bit of micro from both players. inFiTargA focusing on a couple of plays, and this queen will turn the tide of the battle against our pink Zerg player, and now our yellow Zerg player chasing him across the map. 10 Zerglings on the way for him, an extra 2 drones in production for inFiTargA. We do see inFiTargA is taking a bit of a worker lead, but if he cannot maintain this into the mid, if he cannot survive long enough into the mid or late game, this could prove deadly. 2 Banelings morphing now for him, but at the same time, Banelings morphing for King Kong in the bottom right. Sorry, in the middle of the map. More Banelings on the way. Spine Crawler going down now for King Kong, and these Banelings could prove, if these Banelings can land massive hits, it could prove decisive. But one big hit going down, and that Baneling managed to take out another 2, and if this does go down, it could prove deadly. Another 2 Zerglings going down to that Baneling, and King Kong is completely out microing his opponent. 2 Banelings remaining for him. A lot less for his opponent. These queens will go down. A massive Baneling hit, though, for our pink Zerg player. He will lose a queen, and these Zerglings are going to get into the main of his opponent, and they're going to be taken down and they're going to be taken down by these more Zerglings that are popping now. More Zerglings have rallied to the front of inFiTargA's base by yChSPR, or better known as Startail King Kong. These Zerglings are going to try and chase down these ones that are still left in his base. Do see Zerglings, more Zerglings popping out now for our pink Zerg player. An extra 10 on the way. In the income tab, we do see King Kong has managed to take a bit of a supply lead, a bit of a harvester lead again, but inFiTargA is targeting down these Banelings, but where is he going with those Banelings? It's really interesting, but now 4 harvesters ahead is King Kong in production. We do see 14 Zerglings in the unit counting station, 17 Zerglings of our excuse me, pink Zerg against the 2 of his opponent, but as these Zerglings hatch for his opponent, this will change the tail, but we do see a lot more Banelings on the way for our pink Zerg player, and if these can get out a couple of massive hits, it could be the end of the game, but the Spine Crawler again proving decisive in focusing down these Banelings, but as these ones run into the base, and a massive Baneling hit from King Kong will completely change the tide of that battle, and this could be the end of that. We will see if inFiTargA has enough to hold, but as it is, I don't think he does. This Spine Crawler, we do see now he is desperately building Zerglings, a Roach Warren on the way for both players, but this could spell disaster for inFiTargA if these Banelings manage to get any extra big hits off on the yellow Zergs. Excuse me, Zerglings. We do see more Banelings being morphed for inFiTargA, but this massive Baneling hit is going to change that, and as these Banelings walk in, can't help but feel sorry for inFiTargA, but brilliant micro from inFiTargA is going to remove those Banelings to the threat, so we may enter the mid game now, but we do see a lot of extra drones being made by both players. But in the harvester tab, that is what you see, an extra 10 drones for our yellow Zerg player, and he is definitely at an advantage right now. Do see now that the Roach Warrens have finished for both players, but it's only a matter of time unless inFiTargA can somehow even up the score. He is in big trouble. An extra 2 extractors going down now for King Kong. In the unit counting station, we do see, as it is right now, inFiTargA has a bit of an army lead, but this may not last very long at all. More roaches popping out for him now. If he manages to take an attack, he could win. Again, this is a bit of the coin flippy nature of ZVZ that has been complained about, but we do see +1 missile attacks being researched now for our yellow Zerg. This is an extremely high level of play from both players. We do see a Zergling counterattack, but it's going to be cut off by those Banelings. Lair is now on the way for our pink Zerg player. No research being done now at the evolution chamber. We do see 2 evolution chambers in the main of King Kong, researching +1 carapace as well as +1 missile attacks. +1 missile attacks has now begun for our pink Zerg player. This will prove decisive, and 1 massive Baneling hit going to shut down that attack. This will prove decisive in any engagement with roughly even roaches, because if his roaches are doing more damage and they also have an extra carapace armor, that could be it for the pink Zerg player. So these upgrades are going to be extremely decisive in any coming battles, and unless inFiTargA can even out the upgrades, he will be behind in any battles to come. Lair is now finishing for our pink Zerg player, on the way for our yellow Zerg player, but the food count is what says it all, ladies and gentlemen. He is 10 food behind his opponent. Roach speed on the way, the Glial reconstruction upgrade, and these Zerglings are going to get into the main, and they're going to be very annoying for our pink Zerg player to hold off. We do see a Hydralisk Den now on the way for him. In the Harvesters tab, inFiTargA has managed to even up the worker count somewhat, but this choice of tech from both players is extremely interesting. Hydralisk Den going down for inFiTargA. these Hydralisks are extremely weak in terms of health, but they do a lot of damage. But on the other hand, we do see an infestation pit coming up for King Kong, and I think this is the better tech choice. Fungal growths, despite being nerfed in the 1.4 patch, is still a force to be reckoned with. These destructible rocks will go down, and King Kong is going to secure his advantage by taking a third base at the goal, while inFiTargA takes his third at the third base that is not the gold. We do see now an Overseer coming out. We might see Contaminate. No. And will it be taken out? No, not quite. We do see +2 missile attacks on the way now for inFiTargA, but this is the all-important upgrade, ladies and gentlemen, as it is right now. If both players are even in terms of their attack upgrades, then the upgrade for inFiTargA, sorry, the upgrade advantage for King Kong will come such that the extra armor for his units will make them last longer, which means they'll kill things faster. More Banelings coming out now for inFiTargA. 3 Infestors on the way for King Kong, and this, ladies and gentlemen, is what will turn the tide of battle. If we do see in the unit counting station 20 roaches, 9 Hydralisks, and 27 roaches for our yellow Zerg player, but any 2 big fungals and it will change the tide of battle completely. They'll be rooted in place. Even if they have a better concave, they'll be concave, excuse me, they'll be taking a lot more damage from those infestors, and it will allow the yellow Zerg to do whatever he wants. We do see now the food counts have evened up in the income tab. 55 harvesters for our yellow Zerg player to the 51 of our pink Zerg player. And just waiting up now for the next attack. These Hydralisks are moving across the map. They're going to be picking off these Overlords, and managing to supply block his opponent will prove important for our pink Zerg player, but it's no use at all. He's completely on top of that with more Overlords being popped, and we do see now King Kong moving across map for an attack. These infestors separating from the rest of the army, and that could be a massive blunder. No, they do pull back now. That could have proven extremely bad had King Kong decided to commit in that to that attack. Groove Spine's research is now on the way. It is the range upgrade for these Hydralisks, and that will prove very important in this battle. Excuse me. Now, inFiTargA has seen the infestors out for our yellow Zerg player, but he is positioning his roaches and hydras in such a way that it will be extremely hard for any big fungals to go off. And we do see now an engagement in the middle of the map. This could completely turn the field of the battle, and he is attacking. Massive fungals going down for our yellow Zerg player, but is it enough to turn the tide of this battle? I don't think it will be. These Hydralisks in the back are doing a lot of damage, and the yellow Zerg player will be forced to turn around. His infestors burrowing to prevent themselves from being taken out, and he is following them intently. These another massive fungal going out on those roaches. They're getting taken out so quickly, but these Hydralisks are doing their job, doing so much damage to these roaches, and I think inFiTargA is going to win this engagement. More reinforcing roaches streaming in for both players, and he's going to go into this third of excuse me, King Kong, and do a lot of damage there. If he manages to take this out, and he will take a decisive lead, 2 more hatcheries going down in the main for our yellow Zerg player to allow him to spend his money, and he decides to just turn around after taking out that third base. But no, deciding to engage here. The concave is better for our pink Zerg player. He has taken a 20 supply lead, and with more Hydralisks on the way, I don't know if this will be enough for if our Korean Zerg player will be able to hold this off. The nerf to the infestor fungal growth has hit this sort of playstyle very hard. It's doing a lot less damage now in the new patch, and although what's telling is that inFiTargA is still behind now, 20 workers behind. So this food differential is completely in the army. Excuse me, in the unit counting station, we do see that inFiTargA has a much larger army. In the production tab, we don't see any more drones being constructed, so this could be proved deadly for the 2 players. For any engagement between the 2 players. Do see now King Kong sending his roaches up around the side to spot what he can see. we do see that, but he does have Borrow. And in the upgrades, we do see 2-2 for him and only 2-0 still for inFiTargA, but he is taking a 30 supply lead.